Elections to the United States Senate were a part of the elections held in the United States on November 4, 2014. 33 Class II seats in the 100-member United States Senate were up for election, in addition to 3 Class III seats due to expire on January 3, 2017. The candidates winning the regular elections will serve 6-year terms from January 3, 2015 to January 3, 2021. The elections marked 100 years of direct elections of U.S. senators. 21 of the open seats were held by the Democratic Party, while 15 were held by the Republican Party. The Republicans regained the majority of the Senate in the 114th Congress, which started in January 2015. The Republicans had not controlled the Senate since January 2007. They had needed a net gain of at least 6 seats to obtain a majority. They successfully held all of the seats, and gained 9 Democratic-held seats. 5 incumbent Democratic senators were unseated: Mark Begich of Alaska, Mary Landrieu of Louisiana, Kay Hagan of North Carolina, Mark Udall of Colorado, and Mark Pryor of Arkansas. Polls and other factors had led forecasters to predict that the Republicans would win several seats, with most predicting that the party was likely but not certain to win at least the 6 seats necessary to take control of the Senate. This was the second consecutive election held in a president's 6th year where control of the Senate changed hands. This was also the first time that the Democrats lost control of the Senate in a 6th-year midterm since 1918. With a total net gain of 9 seats, the Republicans made the largest Senate gain by any party since 1980, and the largest Senate gain in a midterm election since 1958. This is also the first election since 1980 in which more than 2 incumbent Democratic senators were defeated by the Republican challengers. Overview. In order to have a majority, the Republicans were required to attain at least 51 seats in the Senate. The Democrats would have been able to retain a majority with 48 seats because, in event of a tie vote, Vice President Joe Biden becomes the tiebreaker. From 1915 to 2013, control of the U.S. Senate flipped in 10 of 50 cycles, or 20% of the time. The Republican Party had lost ground in the 2012 elections, leading to an internal fight among the Republican leadership over the best strategies and tactics for the 2014 Senate races. By December 2013, 8 of the 12 incumbent Republicans running for re-elections or Tea Party challenges. However, Republican incumbents won every primary challenge. Although Democrats saw some opportunities for pickups, the combination of Democratic retirements and numerous Democratic seats up for election in swing states and red states gave Republicans hopes of taking control of the Senate. 7 of the 21 states with Democratic seats up for election in 2014 had voted for Republican Mitt Romney in the 2012 presidential election. Democrats also faced the lower voter turnout that accompanies midterm elections. Days after the election, the United States Election Project estimated that 36.6% of eligible voters voted, 4% lower than the 2010 elections, and possibly the lowest turnout rate since the 1942 election. Poll aggregation website 5 of 38 gave the Republican Party a 60% chance of taking control of the Senate as of September 28. Another poll aggregation website, Real-Clear Politics, gave the Republican Party a net gain of 7 seats. Due to the closeness of several races, it was initially believed that Senate control might not be decided on election night. Both Louisiana and Georgia were seen as competitive, and both states require a runoff election if no candidate takes a majority of the vote. Additionally, 2 independent candidates, Greg Orman in Kansas and Larry Pressler in South Dakota, refused to commit to caucusing with either party. In the final months of the race, polls showed that two independent candidates with viable chances of winning seats in the Senate, leading some analysts to speculate on the possibility of an independent caucus that could also include Maine Senator Angus King and possibly Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. However, no independent won a Senate race in 2014, and King and Sanders continued to caucus with the Democratic Party following the 2014 election. By midnight ET, most major networks projected that the Republicans would take control of the Senate. The party held all three competitive Republican-held seats and defeated incumbent Democrats in North Carolina, Colorado, and Arkansas, combined with the pickups of open seats in Iowa, Montana, South Dakota, and West Virginia. The Republicans made a net gain of 7 seats before the end of the night. In the process of taking control of the Senate, Republicans defeated 3 incumbent Democrats, a task the party had not accomplished since the 1980 election. 5 of the 7 confirmed pickups were in states that voted for Mitt Romney in 2012, but 2 of the seats that Republicans won represent states that voted for Barack Obama in 2012. Of the 3 races that were not called by the end of election night, Alaska and Virginia were still too close to call. While Louisiana held a December 6 runoff election, Virginia declared Democrat Mark Warner the winner of his race by a narrow margin over Republican Ed Gillespie on November 7, and Alaska declared Dan Sullivan the winner against Democratic incumbent Mark Begich a week later. On November 12, Republican Bill Cassidy defeated Democratic incumbent Mary Landrieu in the Louisiana runoff on December 6. Results summary. Going into the elections, there were 53 Democratic, 45 Republican, and 2 independent senators. In all, there were 36 elections. 33 senators were up for election this year as Class II senators, and 3 face special elections. Of all these seats, 21 were held by Democrats and 15 were held by Republicans. Colored shading indicates party with largest share of that row. Change in composition. Senate composition before the elections, Senate composition after the elections, race summaries. Special elections during the preceding Congress. In these special elections, the winner was elected during 2014 but seated before January 3, 2015, except that one was seated on January 3, 2015, the effective date of the predecessor's resignation. Races leading to the next Congress. In these general elections, the races are for the Class II seats whose terms begin January 3, 2015. Predictions. Predicted probability of Republican takeover. Several websites used poll aggregation and psephology to estimate the probability that the Republican Party would gain enough seats to take control of the Senate. Predictions of competitive seats. Out of these 11 competitive seats, Republicans needed to win at least 6 in order to gain a majority of 51 seats, and Democrats needed to win at least 5 in order to hold a majority of 50 seats, including the 2 independents who currently caucus with the Democrats and the tie-breaking vote of Vice President Joe Biden. Other seats parentheses around an incumbent indicates a retiring incumbent. Italics indicates an incumbent who most recently took office via appointment. A special election